All right, Sagittarius, let's talk about your 2026. If you fall under the Nanasu Rashi, this year is shaping up to be a really interesting blend of big wins at work and some, let's say, learning opportunities in your personal life. We're about to dive into a forecast from the Sri Gayatri Jyotish Vidya Peach, and it looks like a year of major moves, deep thinking, and some very important lessons in patience. So let's get right into it.
And right off the bat, the big picture for 2026 looks fantastic. We're talking about a year defined by intellectual highs, courage, and financial gains. Now, these aren't just feel-good words. They point to some very real chances for you to grow in your mind, in your confidence, and yep, in your wallet. So how does this all actually play out? Let's start with your career.
Okay, so first up, your professional world. Let's take a look at how your job, your business, and your finances are all set to shift over the next year, because the planets are definitely pointing to some specific trends for you. So a huge theme for you this year is going to be collaboration. If you're working with a business partner, get ready for a year of amazing teamwork and trust. A lot of this is thanks to Jupiter, the planet of growth and luck, which is basically giving your professional life a big thumbs up until late October. And hey, if you happen to be in law, real estate, or industry, the forecast is looking especially bright for you.
Now, this is a really key point for 2026, so lean in for this one. You've got two things happening. On one hand, your business or career is set for some major growth. That's the big flourishing tree. But on the other hand, your personal wealth, well, that's going to be a bit of a slower burn. Think of it like this. This is the year for planting the seeds and watering them, not necessarily for harvesting all the fruit just yet. And speaking of building for the long haul, if you're thinking about real estate, the big word for you is patience. You might run into some roadblocks or delays, but the forecast says if you can just wait it out, you are very likely to land a fantastic deal in the end. So please, don't rush these major decisions. Okay, let's shift gears. We're moving from the office to the living room to see how all this energy is going to show up in your personal life. What's in store for your home, your relationships, and your own personal development in 2026? So what about life outside of the 9 to 5? Well, the news here is pretty great. You're going to get to enjoy the rewards of your hard work with a comfortable lifestyle, maybe even add some new assets. But you know what the real story is here? It's not about the stuff. This is a year for some serious learning and expanding your mind. This really gets to the heart of your personal journey in 2026. It's a time to dig into your roots, to understand your family traditions on a whole new level, and to just run more. But, and there's a but, while you're having this amazing inner growth spurt, it might cause a little static closer to home. And here it is, the first real heads up. You might feel some tension brewing in your family life. The forecast specifically calls out potential strain with your parents or maybe the wider family circle. So what's causing this? Let's look at what's happening up in the cosmos. Let's dig into the cosmic weather report, the specific planetary influences that are stirring things up, because once you understand them, you're already one step ahead of the game. One of the main players here is a point in the sky called Rahu. In Vedic astrology, it's all about ambition and worldly things. The tricky part is its influence on how you communicate. It can make you come across as a little, self-focused, even if you don't mean to. You might find yourself pushing your own agenda, which can definitely cause some friction. So how do you handle this energy? The forecast gives us a really clear 3-step playbook. Number 1, just consciously practice being humble. Number 2, actively try to help other people without needing anything back. And number 3, this one's huge, don't rush things. Fight that urge to make a snap decision about your career or your money. A slow, steady approach is your absolute best friend here. So Rahu might be affecting your communication style, right? But the actual strain in the family, the forecast points to 2 other planets for that. Saturn, the planet of rules and discipline, and Ketu, which is all about letting go. Their combined energy is what can create that feeling of distance. But the good news is, this pressure doesn't stick around forever, and that brings us to some key dates. Okay, let's wrap this up. We're going to look at the most important dates to keep in mind and pull all the best advice together so you can really own 2026. Think of this timeline as your game plan for the year. See it in 2 parts. The first 10 months, so everything up until October 31st, that's your prime time for professional growth. Go for it. Then you're going to want to circle December 5th on your calendar. That's when a major planetary shift is expected to ease up on that family tension, bringing a much calmer vibe to end the year. So, to recap, your mission for 2026, go full throttle on business expansion before the end of October. At the same time, make personal learning a year-long project. Just remember to be patient with your savings account. It'll get there. And your secret weapon for handling any bumps in the road, humility and just thinking before you speak. If you can do that, you can trust that any family stuff will start to smooth out by December.
Look, at the end of the day, this forecast is just a map of the road ahead. It shows you where the big opportunities are, and it flags the spots where you might need to slow down and be a little more careful. It's a year with a dynamic mix of career growth, self-discovery, and relationship lessons. So the real question is, how are you going to use this information to make 2026 an amazing year?